Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctor's Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With ORRETT Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, ORRETT.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 21st day of January, 2026, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, portions of which are wet this morning. I think if you come on the easternmost end of the island, no evidence of any rain, but as soon as you get down to the Savannah area, you will see that the roads are wet, so you want to be extremely, extremely cautious on our roads, whether you are a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. Remember to observe the rules of the road, because the life you save may just be your own. In observing the rules of the road, when the roads are wet as well, you want to ensure that you increase the distance between you and the vehicle that is in front of you as well. That is extremely, extremely important. Give yourself more stopping distance. We continue to see more and more drivers tailgating other vehicles. Not sure who they're trying to impress, but I must say it is extremely, extremely dangerous. And 99.99% of the time, if you hit someone from the rear, you are at fault. You are at fault as well. So please, please be careful out there. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, a happy belated birthday. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, proud to support your For the Record birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands. You should accept no substitutes. From generation to generation, Coca-Cola, still a Cayman classic. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. And in particular, we want to also say those of you who are ill and are at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. Big shout out again this morning to our colleague, Mr. Joel Wilson. Also, we want to give a big shout out to Mr. Austin Harris and his family as well, and wishing him all of the best, and hope that he makes a full recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, ORRETT Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. None other than that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. What will be happening later on after the 8 o'clock news? We'll have the leader of the opposition and deputy leader of the opposition in the studio with us as well. In advance, you may want to prepare your questions, comments, or observations. Send them to us on our WhatsApp number, 925-3261. And I have no doubt that at some point in time during the course of the show, they will open up the phone lines as well. Meanwhile, let's look at those persons who are celebrating their birthday today. Of course, the birthday shout-outs again brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands. You should accept no substitutes from generation to generation. Coca-Cola, still a Cayman classic. Mr. Clinton Ebanks celebrating his birthday today. Also, Miss Harriet Jane Lott celebrating her birthday today. Donna Gale also celebrating a birthday. And Cadane Hall celebrating a birthday today as well. So Cadane Hall, Donna Gale, Harriet Jane Lott, Clinton Ebanks. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, please share that information with us and we will give them a shout out right here on For the Record. Of course, brought to you courtesy of Coca-Cola as well. Let us now look at what's happening in our local news, and let's look at the Cayman Compass headlines. New potential bidder for subsea cable project. Members of Parliament hope lessons are learned from George Hicks refurbishment spend. Other article, football legends son set to elevate Ascension Football Group's first invitational. Portal outage stalls new BOT citizenship applications. And PAC, Public Accounts Committee, probe into quote-unquote concerning HSA audit reveals wider public sector challenges. Those are some of the things in the news this morning coming from the Caymanian Compass's website. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning there, Mr. O'Connor.
Hey, good morning. How art thou?
I'm good.
Great.
Now that you're still on the birthday wishes, I got a message to deliver to you.
Okay.
From Mr. Renner Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Renner Barnes' birthday is it's Monday. That's the 26th.
That's correct. Monday the 26th.
Yeah,
yes,
Monday
the
26th.
Yes.
His message to you is that he's having a gathering up at his property there at the entrance of Randike. Right there at Randike. And there'd be a lot of domino playing. And he wants you to know that in case you pop by, bring your best game, because he got the Honorable Arden McLean backing him up.
Okay.
So don't come no willy nilly. Bring your best game.
I will.
according to him, both of them are the two best domino player in the land, according to him. I know Mr. McLean, coming from the Mystics up in East End, was very powerful team, but I don't know teaming up with Mr. Barnes how good a duel that'll be.
Yeah,
But,
they're both.
The word is to you to bring your best game.
They're both excellent domino players. Also, a good friend of mine, Denver Solomon, excellent domino player as well. And of course, in East End, you had the late Chinaman, and he would team up with the late Silford Christie. They were the teams that used to play for East End as well. We had many exciting games right there at what's the name of Brazil's bar again now?
Yeah. Pirates Cove.
Pirates Cove Bar had many.
Yeah.
And also down at Mango Tree, as well as Buttonwood, we had lots of tournaments down there. But I certainly wouldn't in any way challenge Mr. Rennie Barnes in terms of his domino playing, and also Mr. Ard McLean as well.
And now also I too would like to send out birthday greetings to Miss Harriet.
Okay, Harriet.
Growing up, we looked at her, one of the most beautiful women in the land, and then she went into the jewelry and the different things where we all could boast off with our little jewelry by going to her and paying down and walk away with the jewelry around her neck, So I want to say a really happy birthday to her too.
Okay.
And on another note, now we'll see. Down here at the public beach, just finished my training, and the spring tide seas that we had in the last couple of days have replenished, is the word they use, the beach perfectly. You got to see
replenished,
all
replenish
the beach perfectly. They bring up all the sand that I guess must be with deposit, out in the sea now. It makes it much softer, clean the beach off, so nice. So that is the answer for the $22 million we'll see that we want to use to put sand back on the beach.
Let Mother Nature take its course.
Should take its course,
yes.
OC. Because where there's no wall, OC, the beach are beautiful. You got to see how the spring tide seas come up to the vegetation, go back down, and now the sands are so soft. That's because they bring all that sand that would deposit out in the sea back up.
Right.
But OC, where there's walls and structures, nature cannot take its course. And OC, I don't know what you think, but if you bring $22 million worth of sand and put it where nature had already built sand, that nature removed the sand because of man's stupidity, don't you think the sand that we put there as men, nature gonna come and move that too? If you don't move the structures that obstruct nature from going and do what's supposed to do.
Precisely.
Yeah, that sand gonna move too. See, until you move those structures that obstruct the movement of the ocean, then the sand going to go also.
Yep, the proper corrective action needs to be taken, not just putting the sand there, but adopting other measures as well.
Other measures, right? Don't give me aspirin. Just cure the problem. Then I won't have to come back for that aspirin. So $22 million. I have another idea about that. Give that to me and make me entertain the people out town with lots of fireworks every Saturday night and bring all the families out. How about that?
Yep.
All right. We'll see. I give you the message from Mr. Barnes now.
Right. What time? What time they're planning on starting?
I think it's during the daytime. It's in the daytime. I don't know exactly what time it'll start, but it's daytime.
Oh yeah,
it's daytime. So
We played a lot of knock rummy in those buses right there at that location as well.
Yeah.
in the old days, yes.
Well, I guess a little knock rummy could take place too for those that not too into dominoes.
Yep.
Or if you get beat up at the domino table, then
you try your hand at knock rummy
and try and win something there. I don't see.
All right, take care. Thanks for the call. So, Mr. Webster, from CNB Cayman Brack, happy birthday, Flo, and your friend in Cayman Brack. They wanted to wish you all the best as well. Happy birthday. Says good morning. Please wish Webster or Weber happy birthday for me. My name is Flo from the Brack, wishing you a happy birthday. Folks, we're going to go to a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Samuel Osbert Bertie Ebanks, Certificate of Honor, JP, 1909 through 1996. Bertie Ebanks, like most of his contemporaries, started his working life as a seaman. Early in his career, he survived the sinking of the Vita Louise, on which he was an engineer. He became the Cayman Islands' first public health officer and sanitary inspector. Among his accomplishments were his insistence on sanitary disposal of household wastes and the immunization of the entire population against diphtheria and polio. With a budget of only £500, he eradicated the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which carries yellow fever, a feat that still baffles experts. Mr. Bertie served in the Assembly of Justices and Vestrymen as an elected member for West Bay from 1934 to 1942 and as a Justice of Peace from 1946 to 1959. He established the 4-H Club, the West Bay Cooperative Fishermen's Society, and the West Bay Reading Society and wrote a book, Cayman Emerges. In 1930, he organized the Bosun Bay Sunday School, which was the forerunner of the Bosun Bay Presbyterian Church. He was awarded the Queen's Certificate and Badge of Honor in 1976 in recognition of services rendered to his country.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
My Mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aid with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Hey, new drivers. Don't just drive, drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. We will have the leader of the opposition and his deputy in the studio after the 8 o'clock news. One caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient.
Good morning and Happy New Year to you, sir.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Hope all is well.
Radio Cayman. Rock. Happy New Year to Radio Cayman.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I certainly will convey that to everyone.
Yeah, when it comes to the Dominoes, I think they start like about maybe 2:30.
Okay.
And then, but there's no coding. No code because the coding is going to run you.
Yes, just natural dominoes.
All mental.
Mental. Yep.
So I just called just to make you know that.
Yeah, I forgot one while I was on the commercial break. I forgot one prominent name in domino, a man that really, really can read dominoes and rarely makes a mistake. The great Durable.
Derby.
Yes. Junior Jennings, Mr. Junior Jennings, Derby. That's a man who knows how to read dominoes.
Got to watch him, yeah.
Yes. You're pretty good yourself, too, you know.
Oh, yeah, me just kidding. We used to play for Buttonwood Club, you know.
Yeah. You know who I was thinking about also? Remember Ken Newt used to work for Flowers?
Yes.
Boy,
When I started out, I started at Scorpion in the Red Area Park, a restaurant on Eastern Avenue. So that's where I started out from. I was in my teens. It was Scorpions.
Yep.
That's when I started out there, and after I left there, and I went to Buttonwood Club. Then I went to Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And don't forget the late Cooley, Eric Dixon. He could play a domino too. He and I used to team up against Ken Newt and play for Bears at Buttonwood in the evenings after work.
But I think the best players at that time was Chinaman and Krista. They were terrible, boy. That one code the boy.
Yeah, you couldn't break that code.
Yeah. All right, take care, and that's putting a piece there.
Okay, thank you very much. You take care out there, and thank you for being such a great ambassador for the people of the Cayman Islands in the job that you perform at Owen Roberts International Airport as well, my friend.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care. Take care. Okay. So, I do have another birthday shout out here. Someone has, they said, no. Person says, why don't we change the laws and prohibit these walls and buildings from being built? Well, I think if we change the laws now, we probably closing the gate after the horse has bolted out of it. That's mainly the problem that we have at this point in time, that the horse has already bolted, so not a whole lot that can be done now, but we can look at future development projects, as well. I did have a WhatsApp message. Oh, we do have the caller. Let's grab the caller then. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, hi. Good morning. I'll just like to send out a birthday request to Emily Wilson, working at the HSA, from her children and her grandchildren, and wishing her the best day ever and sending lots of love and hugs.
Okay, and that's for Emily Wilson. We hope that HSA at least gives her a half day off, or if not the whole day off, for her birthday.
I hope
so. But with them being in the news lately, they may not want to, do things like that anymore. There was a time when department heads had that flexibility, and they could either give you a half day off or give you, a day off on your birthday, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what, sir? Time has definitely changed, and I do believe she's on the road right now, and I must say she's a big fan. She listens to you every single morning. So
I want to thank her, and I want to thank you for calling in and wishing her a happy birthday, as well. And, of course, we give her a big, big shout out here, and may she live to see many, many, many more as well.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, caller. You do the same as well. Thank you very much. Okay. Trying to find a WhatsApp here. I think, here we go. Yes. This person wrote and said, and this is extremely important. Do I have enough time? Yes, I have enough time. Said, just want to pass on a thought before the show gets too hot this morning. Yeah, I guess they figure it's going to get hot again this morning, like Friday morning, right? Said this may not seem like such a big issue, but to a few of us, it is. It's regarding parking for senior citizens. A few places have introduced seniors parking, and that's a huge improvement. But for the most part, unless one has a valid, quote-unquote, disabled coupon displayed, the parking is not allowed. Person says, I am suggesting that all business places, supermarkets especially, have a generous allotment of designated senior parking. This would greatly assist the aging population who, thankfully, are not yet disabled. And I want to thank that listener and that writer for sharing that information. And I am sure that almost everyone, if not everyone, would certainly agree with the sentiments that you have expressed here, as well. And also to mention that the older population, they are the most loyal customers that businesses will have, because they will go, they will patronize them on a regular basis because of the service that they get, because of the various products that they may have as well. So if you do the analytics and stuff, you will find that a lot of your income, as far as some businesses are concerned, your profits are coming from older persons as well. With that, folks, we're going to go to our 8 o'clock news at the top of the hour. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The Education Ministry is questioned about its use of emergency procurement procedures to refurbish the old George Hicks campus.
The ministry undertook a $2 million refurbishment project for the old George Hicks campus, procured through what was then known as or called emergency procedures. The initial approved cost for this project was only $184,000. Although the ministry used the emergency provisions, the condition of the campus had been known to the ministry for several years, as this was already part of a bigger project.
Public Accounts Committee member MP Julie Hunter said this represented a, quote, breach of public procurement discipline and public financial management, and asked Chief Officer in the Ministry of Education and Training, Satanya Cacho, to explain.
The funding for George Hicks campus was reduced to keep in line with the revised affordability limit for the entire new John Gray project by about $10 million. And McAlpine, which was the company that it was awarded to for the refurbishment of the George Hicks site, took possession of that campus in March 2023. Once McAlpine got onto the site, mechanical, electrical, and other surveys were conducted, and it was realized that due to the aging facility, there were a number of issues with buildings that went beyond the scope of what they were initially contracted for that would need to be rectified.
Ms. Cacho said once the Department of Education Services team was able to visit the site in the summer of 2024, they noted a, quote, extensive amount of additional work that needed to be done to make sure the school was safe for students to return a few weeks later.
Considering that your consultant's report said the value of that emergency work was approximately $651,000, can you just say how the ministry is justifying spending $1.8 million then? I mean, it just doesn't sound like value for money.
I think there were a number of issues identified with the site. It is an old site. There were issues that needed to be addressed with the items that were descoped, so outside of the remit of McAlpine. And there were then some issues to be addressed within those projects that were done just to finalize and get them school ready, which led to the additional cost.
A lessons learned report was created to review the situation and make sure it doesn't get repeated in the future. The discussion happened during the recent Public Accounts Committee's review of the Auditor General's report on government's 2024 finances. Heroes Day celebrations are on Monday with a focus on infrastructure. Here's CIGTV's Kafar Augustin.
This year's National Recognition Awards will honor persons and groups who have made lasting impact on physical infrastructure. The Public Works Department, the government's Infrastructure Development and Maintenance Agency, has come on board for this year's celebrations to create the physical tributes that will be given to this year's awardees. CIGTV spoke with Public Works Director Troy Worms to learn more.
So the awards came from being heavily infrastructure this year on the National Recognition Awards. That is actually on the National Heroes Day. So this year we're actually differentiating very heavily the awards to the locals themselves because there's a big separation between heroes and award recipients. What we are doing because of infrastructure and the importance of public works playing a part in actually developing the awards themselves or creating the awards is because we're using local products. We're using mahogany. We're using our local artisans, so our own Caymanians that have been through public works. They are staff members. They have been through our training program. And what we're doing is the things we've learned while being on the job in our training programs, as well as working for our country. We're paying our dues back to infrastructure by creating the awards for the persons that have laid those great foundations for the infrastructure improvements and innovations that we see today.
This year's National Recognition Awards will be held on National Heroes Day, Monday, January 26, beginning at 9 a.m. in Hero Square.
Radio Cayman will be carrying the event live. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Govinda Gill. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has said Europe must speed up its push for independence to defend itself in an increasingly lawless world. To sustained applause, she said the future of Greenland was up to its people. President Trump has arrived in Switzerland, where he'll be addressing the World Economic Forum. It's been dominated so far by his stated intention to annex Greenland. On Tuesday, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney said the world order was being ruptured. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami Health System, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The 7:20 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Credit Union, on the road to 50 years of serving our members. Visit creditunion.ky to join today.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Coming from the east, the usual traffic, heavy traffic coming on Shamrock Road and coming off of Rex Creighton Boulevard. Also on the lane for Pearson Highway, steady traffic. And traffic is moving at a steady pace coming off of Bobby Thompson Way and Agnes Way. As we look to downtown Georgetown, flowing at a moderate pace. And on the West Bay Road, traffic is moderate in both directions. And coming from the West Bay four-way stop, traffic is moving at a moderate pace. On Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing moderately in both directions. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening weather-wise. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. The barometric pressure is 30.03 inches and rising. The wind is northeast at 15 knots. Overnight low temperature was 73 degrees. Synopsis indicate a high-pressure system over the eastern United States will continue to support fresh to strong northeasterly winds and rough seas across the Cayman area this morning. As the system moves further east into the Atlantic Ocean, the pressure gradient weakens over the northwest Caribbean, in which winds and seas will begin to gradually decrease from this afternoon. Moderate winds and seas are expected by tomorrow morning, and the current small craft alert is expected to be downgraded to a small craft advisory from this afternoon and then be lifted by tomorrow morning. Satellite imagery shows scattered clouds across the Cayman area. Forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of morning showers, and temperatures will rise near the low to mid-80s. Winds will be northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 6 to 8 feet, mainly along the northern and eastern coast. Small craft alert in effect until this afternoon. Forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid-70s. Your winds will be northeast at 15 to 20 knots, becoming 10 to 15 knots by tonight, and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet, mainly along the northern and eastern coast. A small craft advisory will be in effect for tonight. High tide will be this morning at 10 minutes past 11, low tide this evening at 5:40, and a high tide again tonight at 11:21. Sunset 6:10, sunrise 7:02, and the outlook is calling for moderate winds and seas along with a low chance of showers expected through Saturday.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
We bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of the Lord.
Radio Cayman, this is how we wake you up in the morning.
Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give your praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the Lamb.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call. He's a name in the Lamb's book of life. Roll call, brother, sister. Roll call. If you don't stop shouting, if you don't stop dancing, we're going to put you out of our church.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work moved through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we have the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Joe Hugh, in the studio with us. We will shortly be joined by his deputy, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, as well. Mr. Hugh, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning, OC, and good morning to the Cayman Islands, in particular those of you in Georgetown North. It's a very cool little overcast morning. So enjoy the weather, but be careful on the roads, or they are a little wet.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed on my way in OC, looks like there's going to be 5 ships, a minimum of 5 ships today. There's 4 at dock, and I see 1 out at sea coming in. So I expect Georgetown to get quite busy later on today. Add the wet roads to that, and it's going to be a busy day on the road. So take your time, leave a few minutes early, and be careful. So yeah, good to be back. Thank you.
Well, what that does, the fact that they can berth or anchor in the harbor out here, as opposed to having to go to spots, is much more convenient,
Right.
for them, and less traffic congestion. Even though we have the alternate route there, the Rex Creighton Boulevard, that can be used by drivers when that area is extremely busy, as well. Yeah, yes. So what's been happening otherwise? Tell us.
Well, not a whole lot. OC from the political side of things, we have been busy. As you know, we filed several motions. We discussed them here on your show in the beginning of the year. We still have not heard when we will have Parliament. It doesn't look like it'll be in February again, so I guess we're aiming for some time in March. My sources have told me that the government have been in a 2-day retreat, Monday and Tuesday of this week, so I'm not sure. I don't know if they're going to be having caucus and cabinet and whether decisions will be made as to if there will be Parliament in the coming weeks and what they will be covering. We have, as a group, as a caucus, the opposition PPM have sat down and set out our priorities based on what was in our manifesto as to the issues that we will be addressing or attempting to address through the Parliament, whether that be from parliamentary questions or from private member motions. And yesterday we even had a long discussion about whether or not we should be doing motions or are there things we think are critical enough to actually do bills.
Private member bills, yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know that that the opposition or private members can actually bring bills as well, not just the government. And so we again, like I said, we're forging our path forward. There's no surprise that the conversation around the cost of living and the quality of life for our residents have dominated our discussions, and we will continue to push the government on those matters. It's nice and cool right now. I encourage people to open their windows and take advantage of that and reduce their electricity bills.
Yep.
But as we know that as the summer months approach, it is going to get warmer. And as we know, when summer gets here, the peak temperatures, kids at home, those sorts of things, the cost of living can become a bit unbearable. And for those in the hospitality industry, which is a growing number of Caymanians, that is your slowest time of the year as well. And so all of these things equate to difficulties in meeting your monthly obligations. And we have ideas that we will be bringing to the government to assist our people through those periods of time. But my advice to them at this stage, while things are cool, take advantage of it, pay attention to your AC, open the doors as much as you possibly can. Those in the hospitality industry, while gratuities are high, save, put aside for the slower months, because they are going to come. And we are hopefully optimistic that we will continue to see the economy grow. We are, of course, concerned, as we've aired here on the show several times, what will be the effects of all of the recent increases across the board and changes. And of course, to be absolutely transparent, global affairs. How will those affect geopolitical? How will that affect the cost of living here in Cayman? And we are quite concerned about that. Something we're going to keep a close eye on. We're going to call on the government to ensure that they do the necessary surveys and checks to ensure that our people can manage the cost of living. that's before us, because it is the number one thing that we're hearing everywhere we go. As MPs, anywhere we go, across the three islands, that's the number one concern that we hear from people.
What about the threats to the supply chain as well, food supply chain, and looking at other alternatives, alternative countries as opposed to the U.S. if something were to occur?
Yeah, that's always been a challenge because of shipping routes and that sort of thing. The number one threat I see there, OC, when we look at what happened in Venezuela, look at how broad the airspace, how far the airspace closures extended, all the way around Barbados, up the Eastern Caribbean, Puerto Rico. And I guess, those are strategic spaces for the United States. If there was any sort of military action closer to home, one would see that the entire stretch between Florida, Cuba, and Central America could be affected, and that could mean air traffic and sea traffic, ocean freight.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, we have no direction to go should that happen, and God forbid if that should happen, and we pray that if it does, that it's as temporary as it was in the Eastern Caribbean. Of course, that still had massive effects on their economy, with the lack, no cruise ships, no air traffic coming into the country for a couple of days has a tremendous effect on your budget. So we are keeping a keen eye on that. We thank Her Excellency the Governor for keeping us updated on that, and we will. I did have a brief conversation with her on the weekend, saying that the opposition will be writing to get an audience with her, just so that she can update us on all the matters pertaining to national security. We see in the press where she said that the government is addressing and preparing, should we have an influx of immigrants.
Cubans, yeah.
We would like to get a better understanding of that as well. That is a real concern, and housing of those migrants is a real concern. As you know, we have struggled with that, even though we have not had a huge influx at one time in a while. We are now having an issue with housing, and I think many Caymanians are unhappy that the migrants are now being placed into communities and regular rental homes and that sort of stuff. And so I think that has to be addressed as a matter of urgency. A plan has to be presented as to what are we going to do should or when this happens, because there's no defense to it. We're governed by treaties and human rights and stuff. So we can't put up a wall and say you can't come in.
Yeah. And it becomes even more difficult when there's armed conflict as well. It makes it even more difficult
and dangerous as well. And dangerous because we don't know. We never know who it is that's coming to our shores. But as the desperation level gets higher and as there's armed conflict, and I would suspect, if we were going to talk about Cuba in particular, I would suspect that if there's any sort of armed conflict in Cuba, that there would be those on the ground in Cuba who would be supporting the United States, for instance, and so you don't know when people start to flee, who's fleeing, who's coming, and so that makes and of course just a sheer number is going to make it very difficult for the CBC and to process the individuals, and if there's disruption on the ground in Cuba, then that's going to slow things down in Cuba, so information would be not as forthcoming as it would normally be. So there's a lot to take into consideration, and I think we as a country must prepare for that. Any of these disruptions combined with recent fees, combined with geopolitical effects, including whatever's happening between the United States and the EU, and NATO and Greenland now, all of these cumulative effects can have negative impacts on our economy.
Certainly.
Yeah.
One of our listeners wants to know, as the leader of the opposition whether or not you sit on the National Security Council?
I do. I do sit on the National Security Council, yes. And so, there's National Security Council. You're bound by confidentiality. So, that is why I suggested that perhaps the entire opposition have a sit down with the governor, and she can update them as to what levels she feels comfortable updating the opposition. These are the things, OC, that we cannot play politics with. These are matters of security, matters of importance to the country that we cannot play politics with, and we must all show a unified front. If I even go to our calls for a unified front on the public registrar, beneficial ownership, this is something that we must be united as a parliament and as a country in our response to threats from the UK and on those matters. I think we have a long record of being compliant and cooperative, and I think we have to continue to do that where we can afford to, and where we feel that it's fair and across the board with all territories and all financial institutions. But when the time comes to stand together to say enough is enough, or why just Cayman, we have to be unified in that as a parliament.
Okay, with that, we want to say good morning and welcome to the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Corner. Good morning, Mr. Leader. Good morning, Ms. Susan. And good morning to my wonderful people of the Cayman Islands, those who call Cayman home and those who were born of the soil. It's a pleasure to be here on Radio Cayman. I'm listening to my leader give you all the good juicy stuff that we talked about yesterday on my way here, so I'm quite happy. I don't have to cover too much. But yeah, I'm so glad that the leader spoke about the National Security Council component, because as he rightfully said, he's bound by collective responsibility. But with these matters of security concerns that are heightened now in the public domain, I think it is of good sense for the governor, who's in charge of the security of the country, to meet with all members, to be honest with you, even those who are not on the Security Council. I remember being in cabinet, and some of my cabinet ministers would know what's going on and I don't. And rightfully so. I can't even poke my leader to tell me too much, because that would be an infringement of those constitutional rules. But as all MPs, what will end up happening is, naturally I represent people in my constituency, so I'm going to probe and ask questions. And I think that we need to be more forthright with our information, because quality of life is important, and quality of life could be just concern or reducing those concerns to say, don't worry, I know naturally you would think this way, but we're watching, we're looking. I think that my first email around Christmas time triggered a lot of the response from the governor. And I'm happy that has been done, because otherwise we wouldn't have had any comments at all from the government or the governor's office about what is happening. But as my leader has said, we will continue to probe the government to keep us informed, and we are working in a bipartisan approach, particularly with these sensitive matters. Speaking of which, one of the things we spoke about yesterday was, we have to make sure that the public understands that this is not about beating up on the government or anything like that. We actually support the government tremendously. And one of those things to do to support the government is to hold them accountable in a professional manner for the best interest of our country. So you'll see a straightforward, stern approach of accountability, but also in lending a hand wherever they need help, because these are interesting times and we cannot see it as a power grab or anything like that. We are about working for the people, and sometimes working from the opposition side is probably some places that you can get things done, so we are here for the Premier and his team if they need help in any way, while we continue to deliver the things that the people that voted us in the Progressives have asked us to do, which is in our manifesto.
Okay, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we return on the other side, Mr. Hugh, you mentioned the possibility of bringing private bills to Parliament as well. And curious to know whether or not any progress has been made in terms of funding for parliamentarians, and in particular the opposition, that would enable you to obtain the resources that you need to have to assist you in terms of, formatting, formulating, any private bills that you may bring as well. With that, folks, we're going to be going to a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price, and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, letting you know that we have in the studio with us the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Joey Hugh, and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, in the studio with us. Before we went to the break, I was curious to know where they were at as far as additional or funding for parliamentarians so that they can certainly perform their constitutional responsibilities to the fullest extent.
Thank you, OC. So I think at this point the budget was approved. The job descriptions were approved. And now it all has to come back to the Parliament.
Okay.
So we're just waiting on Parliament to sit so that it can be. I'm not sure if they're bringing it as a government motion, or I think the standing orders require a negative resolution.
Yes.
Negative resolution.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're waiting on. I think we're far ways away from the government finding accommodations for the Office of the Opposition and the staff of the Office of the Opposition, because it's important to know that it's the Office of the Leader of the Opposition. So if that should change tomorrow, it's still the office for the Leader of the Opposition, whether it changes out in the party or outside the party. If the roles get reversed here in a couple of weeks, it would be the new opposition would occupy the very same space and would have staff as well. So we're moving slowly, but in the right direction. And we, the conversation around private bills, private member bills, it's an interesting one. I think yesterday when we talked about it, the deputy brought up an excellent point regarding some new provisions within the standing orders that will give more teeth to the private member motions.
Okay.
Because as you know, private member motions ask the government to consider generally. And you could write that the government must, but we tend to find that those are a little more difficult for governments to adopt than when you ask the government to consider it, and then they can consider a part of it or the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. Especially when it involves increasing in financing as well.
Things of that nature. Yes. So I think the deputy can elaborate more on why we. In yesterday's discussion, and it was a very casual discussion, in yesterday's discussion we felt a bit more comfortable with continuing along the route of private member motions.
Yes, sir. So as per my leader's viewpoint on the standing orders there, what we have recognized is that For the listening audience may remember that the standing orders were updated just before the last election. And historically, what we've seen politically, for those who may follow deeply about what happens in the political arena, private members' motions are brought to Parliament. They really want something done, and the government of the day will know that it's a very sensitive matter. And if you say no to this private member's motion, like say for instance, you said, we want to make sure every child is educated fully to its fullest degree. Of course, no government is going to say no, but they may think, well, we're not going to deal with that right now. So they'll say yes to the motion, and then they put it in file 13, and nothing ever happens. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the things that Sir Alden McLaughlin, in his departure from Parliament and into retirement, talked about making sure that there's accountability, that when you approve something, you don't just throw it in file 13 and nothing ever happens, because that happened to me a couple of times when I was in opposition. So there's a new provision in the standing orders now, section 48, that says motions on national policy issues, and I'm going to read it out so people can understand the context of it, where there is a heightened level of accountability when motions are passed. It says every private member's motion passed by the House which requires action on national policy issues shall be sent by the clerk within 1 week of the date of the approval by the House to the Cabinet Secretary for submission to Cabinet for consideration of Cabinet. Part 2 says a report on the Cabinet's decision in response to the submission made pursuant to paragraph 1, which is what I just read, shall be tabled at the next meeting of the House by the Premier or by the member of government assigned by the Premier. So, hypothetically speaking, there has been one motion thus far that has been approved since this government has been formed, and it was a motion about decriminalizing speeding in no-wake zones, because you may recall that my first motion was about a young man who has a criminal record because he was going, I think, 8 miles or 9 miles in a 5-mile zone in the water on his jet ski. Mm-hmm. Young man couldn't even get to go to school because he has a police record, can't get a visa, the whole shebang. Obviously, everybody agreed to that. So now that the government has naturally gotten all the praise from the public, the partnership, the opposition brought this motion, the government has done well. Okay, well, do what you got to do, because what has happened is nothing has happened since. We haven't heard anything about it. Now, this standing order now allows me to hold the government accountable, because technically speaking, the next sitting of the House, they're supposed to come back with a report saying, well, what has happened since? But we haven't heard anything from the government. So it is my intention to raise this matter under the standing order to say, okay, government, where are you at with this? It's no longer you can just say yes to it and do nothing. So I have a level of accountability within the standing orders now. So as per what the leader was saying before, whether we decide to go down the road of continuing with a motion approach where we feel comfortable that the government is now held to a higher standard to deliver once it's approved through these provisions, or we're just going to, skip that stage and say, this is a national urgent matter, so just put it as a bill. So once it's passed, it actually becomes law. Mm-hmm. Now, having it as a motion gives the flexibility for the government to tweak it in the best way they see how. You have to respect the government of the day is the government of the day, and they're a majority. So your motion may not be as fully completed as to the way they want it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But if you do a bill, it's whatever the bill actually says. So whatever you approve that day, there's no amendments unless you do it on the floor. So the leader is just basically talking about our decision based on each subject, whether we will go down the road of motion where there's a level of accountability now within the standing orders, or whether we will take a more absolute approach with a bill, a private member's bill.
Was there any time frame within which the Cabinet Secretary should take it to Cabinet as well? Or?
Yes. Well, let me just read it one more time, just so we can be clear as to what it says. Every private member's motion passed by the House, which requires action on national policy issues, shall be sent by the clerk within 1 week of the date of the approval. So the clerk has sent it to Cabinet Secretary. Listen, this has been passed within 1 week of the date of the House, to the Cabinet Secretary for submission to Cabinet for consideration by Cabinet. Now, it doesn't say when the Cabinet Secretary has to give it to Cabinet, but it does say in the next section that the decision of Cabinet has to be brought back to Parliament. So it obviously has to be within the week that it was passed and the next sitting of the House. Mm-hmm. So I guess you could say if you do 3 months in between of sittings, then you have, 7 weeks or 9 weeks to get it done to cabinet. But the rules say you have to bring it back to the House and tell us, what are you doing? What was the decision on to implement this motion on the substance of the resolve section of the motion? So with this being new territory for all MPs, including those who are experienced like my leader and myself, we're going to see how the Honourable Speaker, as well as the Premier and all of us, examine this new provision, because they're obligated to do so. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure that they're aware, because I strategically didn't say anything the last sitting of the House, because it says by the next sitting of the House. So you have the whole sitting of the House. I waited to the very last moment to say, I haven't heard anything about my motion. So the very first day of the next sitting, I will stand up on a point of order to say, you have been negligent in your duties based on this standing order. Can you give the country an explanation and this Parliament as to why you have not fulfilled the new standing orders provision in 48, 1 and 2?
But if the government, once the motion has been made and it passes, which in most instances, unless the government refrained from voting on it, you would get some government members, if not all, to vote along with it. So that in itself is a first step, in that. So do you see the process working not in an adversarial manner, but in a collaborative way, the way that it's laid out?
It should, and it could. The only challenge there, OC, would be if there's difference of opinions within the government. And that creates a hurdle for those who in the government who support the motion versus those who don't. Going back to, the way we word private member motions, we ask the government to consider them, and it makes it easier for the government to accept the motion, because it's a consideration. They can consider any part of it. Sometimes a private member motions will have as much as 4 or 5 whereases or resolves. And so the government could take 2 or 3 of the resolves and not deal with the other 2 if they so wish. So that's a challenge there. The concern that we could probably have is that the government then decides to not even accept accept the motions for consideration, because they would have to then act on it. But we would hope that it would be more of a collaborative approach in these, because, my very first motion brought to the House was dealing with home invasions and restorative justice. And it passed unanimously. I was actually a backbench in the government, and I brought the private member's motion, and it passed unanimously. And it was never, and I was a member of the government. It was never enacted, and the reason being that the concern was that the legislators were creating rules for the judiciary. Because I was asking that if someone enters a home while persons are in the home, that should become an aggravated burglary. Because if they're stopped before getting to a knife or picking up a weapon of any household, furniture or fixtures or anything, that doesn't mean that it's not aggravated. The fact that they didn't bring the weapon with them doesn't mean that it's not aggravated. My argument was that if there are people in the home, it's a home invasion, it should be aggravated. Yeah. And then on top of that, I added, and I actually read out very disturbing letters of testimony from persons who had lived through that. People that had to put their family pet to sleep because the trauma it caused on the family pet, that the kids were now afraid of the pet. Wow. Right, because it was a very traumatic evening with doors being kicked down and all that sort of stuff. So, but I also added to that the element of that there should be mandatory social inquiries and interviews of the victims, social inquiry on the victims, social impact on the victims. and restorative justice, where the victims, if they're willing to get an opportunity to meet with the perpetrator, and it was unanimously supported. And what the judiciary did was they responded by saying we're going to put sentencing guidelines in place. We're going to adjust our sentencing guidelines to deal with those sorts of matters, and that their response was that it's hard to make it mandatory at the time to have social inquiries or to do with the victims because of manpower, and it would slow down the court process even more. But where they find that it's of a serious enough nature, they do. So they prioritize them based on the seriousness of the crime. And so they had a list of reasons why they found it they couldn't support it. But they also gave what their solutions would be, or what they are doing to do it. So just goes to show.
And I wonder whether or not victim impact statements could have substituted,
That's what I meant.
Was
victim impact statements are yes, those are done, but I think there is a gap there where just the manpower to get those things done. Sometimes it takes weeks just to get a statement done by a police officer.
Okay. Gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have a question from one of our listeners, and I will read that to you, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
Babe, not tonight. You keep poking me and I need to be rested for meetings tomorrow.
What? I was almost asleep. That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about, not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dawson Drive, Industrial Park.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
For the record, with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, persons of Honourable Joey Hugh and Honourable Kenneth Bryan. One of our listeners has written and said, "Good morning, OC. I want to ask the Leader of the Opposition whether he supported the decision to raise the minimum wage across the board, and if so, how he justifies it given the current economic reality in Cayman. The cost of living is already at the highest it has ever been, and this policy is clearly adding pressure on small businesses, driving prices up and threatening jobs and working hours. This will benefit neither Caymanians nor expats. What accountability is there for the fallout we are already seeing, and does he support reversing this decision before the situation worsens and spirals out of control?"
Thank you, OC. OC, we campaigned on increasing the minimum wage. I don't think anyone can really say that we can expect people to live on $6 an hour in the Cayman Islands. So We do support it. I think the issue that we are facing with the minimum wage is the way that it was introduced. There was no discussion around it. It was one man getting up and saying, I don't care what anybody says, the minimum wage is going to be this on January 1st. And that was said in Parliament. And nobody knew whether or not he had the power to make that decision. There was no formal press release. I mean, right up until December, until the adverts started, saying that come January 1st, the minimum wage would be $8.75, people still weren't sure. You know, we asked questions in Parliament about it, like, what's going to... When we first asked questions, we said, would there be any exemptions? Would there be the same carve-outs for domestics, for gratuity employees and stuff? And the answer was no.
Yeah, straight
up. And people panicked. People absolutely panicked. You know, the government and the minister appeared on shows like this show and made matters even worse by being even stronger in his views on immigration and minimum wage, etc. And it created a panic. Then to implement it on January 1st, you know, an interesting time. One could say, okay, well, Christmas people should be busy and they can afford it January 1st, but it's a very difficult time to implement such a thing. So I think those who were in a position to do so would have increased their prices and implemented it from November, perhaps, moving into December. And then, of course, you saw prices go up through the Christmas period to reflect those. Because any smart businessman is going, or business person, is going to increase their pricing in advance so that they can pay the salaries, because the salaries come at the end of the work period.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you have to increase your prices if you need to, previous to that, so that you can have the funding to pay your staff, especially those in landscaping, security, all those hourly that you bill them out by the hour. You're going to have to increase your prices prior to them doing the work so that you can cover your payroll. So, and then if you combine that with other increases, filing fees at immigration, other things of that nature, it has become very difficult. So I'll say to the author of that message, we supported minimum wage. It had to come up. We talked about things like phasing it, increasing it by a few dollars, and then taking it a few months later up again, and then tying it to the rate of inflation sort of thing, so that you don't have this large gap between increases that you have to do such a huge increase. But we never in our wildest dreams believed that it would have been implemented the way it was, and along with all these other fee increases. And of course, the geopolitical effects was something that no one had control over. We can't cast any blame on anyone for that.
And the minimum wage committee did recommend this $8.75.
They did.
Right?
They did.
But they didn't get into, whether or not it should be phased in or what.
Right. No, it doesn't give you that. It gave you an indication as well as to what the economic impact would be. It gave a pretty wide range. We asked those questions in Parliament. We asked the government, did you do economic impact assessments on your fees, on minimum, combined with minimum wage? Are you going to do a post inflation impact assessment to measure the impacts that it's having on the businesses or the economy? But yeah, it's been unfortunate because it has helped. It helps a lot of people in one way, that they're now getting a better salary and they can maintain themselves. But then when they turn around and look at their food bills and the cost of living and getting simple things done, because it's going to affect everybody from laundromats all the way up. Yeah.
If I can just add a little bit to the viewpoint here, I think the first thing we have to acknowledge is the author of that is in concert with most people, which is acknowledgement that the decisions by the government has caused the cost of living to go up. And that's the one thing they say they were adamant they were not going to do, according to the Honorable Premier. So let's acknowledge that first. But more importantly, what the minimum wage has done, I don't think has done it in isolation. Because I think most people across the country, by way of majority, was in support of the recommendations by the Minimum Wage Committee. for 875. We know we don't have a lot of cost control measures within Cayman's legislation, so there's nothing you can do to stop the business owners from passing on that cost. And neither do I think that the business owners should be left with that cost, because many business owners are suffering as it is. I think why we're feeling such a negative effect is the cumulative effect of so many things being done at one time. I think there needs to be a stronger analysis of the immigration changes, because changes in the immigration system can create bureaucracy, time constraints, which time is money, as they say in business. And then you have the fee increases on top of that, which is a cost to labor. Labor is 1/3 of the highest cost of any business to be run. And then you have the wages, prices have increased. So all of these factors all at one time is contributing to this increase in cost of living, not only the minimum wage by itself. So hypothetically speaking, if the government did nothing else but just increase the minimum wage, I don't think the feel that we're getting now today will be as significant. I think there would still be some feel, but not as significant. So though we recognize and supported it within our manifesto, as well as every other party, by the way, I must say that I don't think there's anybody who's elected who did not support the minimum wage. I think the key thing that the leader said is the rushed approach, rather than a little extra re-examination, this absolute provision of we're not even going to examine anything. And I think they got that from the glory of, wanting to be proved that they're going to get something done. But sometimes things take a little bit longer, so to make sure that we do it the right way. And that's the progressives' approach. Sometimes people say, oh, you're dragging your feet. But these are the type of things that happen now where you see this inflationary momentum that I don't know how the government is going to deal with this, because their budget has been dependent upon those fees. And they may not be able to balance their budget in the year with these fees they increase along with the minimum wage. We might find ourselves in a bit of difficulty, Mr. Leader.
Yeah, unintended consequences is the phrase that comes to mind. But what we're hearing out there, and if we take OC, if we go start with the fact that we have to have persons on work permits. There are way too many jobs supporting all of our families, our homes, and our businesses that we have to have work permits. If we accept the fact that the work permits are held by Caymanians, who are either having those individuals support them in their home, take care of their aging or handicapped family, if we or families with disability, if we accept all of that, then we have to understand that these are going to impact Caymanian lives, right? Our question to them was increasing fees along with the minimum wage is only going to hurt Caymanians, okay, because of all that we just went through. The second thing was, we asked in this $2.5 billion budget, where are the reductions to help families? Where are the reductions in anything to help Caymanian families, to help Caymanian small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, to balance these increases that you have? They said, they clearly said that these were not revenue measures, but were Caymanian protection measures. So if they're not revenue measures, if you don't have a revenue issue, then where is the balance to that? Where are you reducing costs for Caymanian households, and where are you reducing costs for Caymanian small and medium-sized businesses? What is your strategy to address those? And that is the one thing we have not heard from the government since that. The only thing that they have done was, I think they said in the, which I'm telling you there'll be perhaps fallout on that too, but the only thing that they have said is that a percentage of the increased revenue from the stamp duty increase on homes over $1 million will go towards housing.
Yeah.
My concern is too is that all that does is replace the housing budget and not add on to the housing budget. But even if we look at that, how many houses have we seen completed in the last 4 years? 6? And you have a waiting list of 1,000. So we have to become a bit more creative and think outside of the box there.
Okay, folks, we have to go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Are you a diver or snorkeler who wants to participate in the Department of Environment's shark research? Well, if so, join the Shark Logger Community Dive at Eden Rock Dive Center on Saturday from 11 to 2 to learn more about the free citizen science program. You'll learn what to look out for on your dives and how to log what you see or don't see so the DOE's shark research team can use the data. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump has arrived in Davos, set to address world leaders. Greenland looms large at this summit, with leaders still wondering if it has the capacity to shatter the NATO alliance. As Trump touched down in the UK, Prime Minister Keir Starmer told MPs in London he would not, quote, yield to pressure from the U.S. on Greenland. Trump previously said he would add a 10% tariff on goods imported from 8 European countries that continue to oppose his plans to take over Greenland. In response, French President Macron said the EU could consider a series of retaliatory trade options, including a, quote, trade bazooka. And Japan has restarted operations at the world's largest nuclear power plant for the first time since the 2011 Fukushima disaster forced the country to shut all of its reactors. The decision to restart reactor number 6, northwest of Tokyo, was taken despite local residents' safety concerns. It was delayed by a day because of an alarm malfunction and is due to begin operating commercially next month. Those are your headlines. I'm Kersley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the record, with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a WhatsApp caller. We will take that caller in a second. We want to give the leader of the opposition an opportunity to finalize his comments that he was making before we had to go to our headline news. Mr. Hugh.
Yeah, thank you, O.C. Continuing on some of the things that now that I said why I felt what needs to be done, some of the solutions we had for that, even in our manifesto, was for small and medium-sized businesses, have government commit to paying invoices within 28 days and working towards getting that down to as early as 22 days. Because having government contracts is a blessing in a way for small businesses. Mm-hmm. But then when you have to wait 60 days to get paid, it can put real strain on the business. Yep. We said in our manifesto that just equally as important, and everything that we said in our manifesto, equally as important as immigration reform, as minimum wage, would be helping reduce the cost of living for our households, Caymanian households. And that was free health care for children. That was addressing health care coverage across the board. That was addressing in-home care for our elderly. and quality of life for our elderly, offering support there to help reduce the strain on some of our Caymanian families. And so these are the sorts of things that we're disappointed we're not seeing coming out of the government at the same time. So they're not moving in tandem. We've seen minimum wage introduced. We've seen fees introduced. We've seen increase in fees introduced, but we have not seen anything that helps reduce the cost of living for our households and help reduce the cost of doing business for our small businesses.
Okay, let's grab our WhatsApp caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, and you?
Fine, thanks.
Okay, good morning to Leader of Opposition, Mr. Joey here.
Morning.
Yeah, Joey. Well, concerning the cost of living, it's getting worse. We have over 700 students graduating every year. And if our young people are not able to save for a rainy day, that means they will not be able to buy a piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
And land, the price of land goes up every year. So the most important thing the government can do right now, whatever government that may be, is to control the cost of living for our young people. They say stress, depression, and anxiety causes mental illness. We do not need that to happen to our young people. Thank you.
Caller, before you go, do you have any advice for those Caymanians who do own land and what they should do as far as attempts to keep that within the family so that it can be passed on generation to generation for them to be able to use rather than selling it and then, leaving, their younger ones to have to go out there and purchase land themselves? Any advice?
Well, what's happening in Cayman right now? The grandparents see their children and their grandchildren suffering. And it gets to a point where they're not able to help them financially. And when someone offers them twice as much as what the land is worth, then they're willing to sell. But the 300 acres of land that the government has in East End, we've been looking at that long enough. It's time now for government to take that land, at least 150 acres of that land, clear it like it needs to be cleared, that our young people who are coming out of school will have a piece of land that they're able to buy, that they're able to afford, by the government offering them a price that nobody else will. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, gentleman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's correct. And these are, again, OC, I may sound like a broken record. I think I've brought 2 motions now from the opposition to continue the work that I started when I was a minister. We had a joint ministerial committee put together, and we did dozens of roundtable discussions, brainstorming, strategy sessions on how to deal with housing for Caymanians. And the information was there in the Deputy Governor's office with a young man, Mr. Matthew Hilton, who I think is still there. But the top priorities, and I brought private member motions, those that came out of those things were government guaranteed mortgages on land and on structures, where the mortgages, the down payment is simply added on to the tail end of the mortgage. That has been the biggest hurdle, is to find up to 30% of the value of the property in order to get a mortgage for it. Even if you can afford the mortgage, it's getting that 30%. We talked about shared ownership with the government. So there's so many opportunities for government, and I know everybody hate to use the word concession, so I use the word incentives, where government incentivize developers or Caymanians with small pieces of property to build on their property and to build in the affordable housing. And I don't mean affordable as affordable housing in Cayman is not like you talk about in other parts of the world where it's high rise. It isn't cheap. It's a good home. It's a good home. But where government then, for their incentive, takes ownership of a couple of the places, and then they can do shared ownership. So as a young Caymanian or Caymanian, you can come in and buy 30% of that home from the government. And each year, if you wish, you can buy 5% more, 10% more. You get to 50%, you have some equity in there at the market cost, based on the discount that you paid for it at first. Then you want to sell your shares. The government puts your shares back up for sale to another Caymanian or back to the government. You take your equity and you move on and buy your dream home. Build on your own land. Incentives for Caymanians. Down payments or assistance through planning and that sort of stuff to get you past that threshold where the bank will finance you. These are the things that government can do. We are not going to, every minister gets in there, wants to build all of these, every housing minister, which I didn't have that privilege, but every housing minister wants to build all these homes so they can do ribbon cuttings and put their name, maybe one day have the road named after them. But there are so many other things that can be done in the interim to help Caymanians into home ownership.
What the whole concept of single family homes is that working? Because you end up at the end of the day, land is a finite resource that we have, especially here in the Cayman Islands. But we continue to see the everything pointing towards single family homes as opposed to larger buildings.
You don't want to do, I wouldn't be a supporter of project style high rises, because history has shown us that that's difficult to manage. But there's nothing wrong with townhouses linked to each other in a nice Cayman style fashion set out, and a combination of these sorts of developments. I see nothing wrong with that. I think the high-rise, the condo business, I'll call it the condo apartment business, again, we could incentivize people to build those, or when people are building them, give them incentives that government end up having shares of it. Why I'm so stuck on that, OC, is because what that does is create social diversification, right? You're giving Caymanians an opportunity to own in places that they normally would not own in, and to experience that lifestyle, the lazy river or whatever, all these sorts of things. So that's why I'm so keen on these sorts of projects, because it removes the risk of the stigma and putting, any stigma around social, one aspect of the society in one area.
With my leader's blessing, I want to just say we haven't had a fulsome discussion about this key area, and as the leader has said, individually he would approach that way. I am strongly in support of the high-rise approach. I know that there is a large fear of what people say, oh, you'll turn it into a slum yard or ghetto or what have you. But I have done the research in the UK where those properties can properly be managed with housing managers. I just do not think we can continue down this idea of single dwelling or even duplexes with the cost of land. The number one problem that we're having is to bring down the affordability factor. And from a construction perspective, the affordability is only when you put more square footage by way of room on a smaller piece of land, because land is the most expensive thing. So in my humble opinion, I do think that because we're not moving fast enough, particularly with these single dwelling homes, that I'm in support of. Obviously, I think there needs to be a multi-category housing offering. So there's nothing wrong with single dwelling duplexes, but I do think if we want to actually catch up on the rate of people who don't have homes, in order to do enough of them fast enough, we have to consider potentially 3-story apartment-style complexes with a manager on duty like what we see in the UK, and it works. So if it works somewhere else, it can work here.
No, I agree with you there. It's just I'm talking about 10-story blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, definitely. Where the hallways become cities of their own.
That's true. That's true.
No.
I think there is a caller.
But the break first, and then we take the caller after. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive, drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aid with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
For the record, with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, for those of you who are just joining us, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Joey Hugh, and Deputy Leader, Honorable Kenneth Bryan. We do have a caller on the WhatsApp. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Can you hear me now?
Yes, hearing you loud and clear.
Yes, good morning to you, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition and Deputy Leader.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Morning. I would just listen to the comments about the minimum wage. I don't think minimum wage was intended to be a forever salary. I think it was more of a starting point. It feels like it's 6 of one and half dozen the other. If we say that people can live on $1 an hour, and we're gonna raise it. I don't know.
Caller,
the cost of goods and
you're
services.
You're breaking up, caller. You're breaking up for some reason.
I'm not sure what's the topic. It's
Okay.
slow, but can you hear me now?
Yep, let's try it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel like we're not getting anywhere by raising the cost of living 875 because it benefits really no one. Um, the trickle down effect will be more detrimental than anything else. We're already seeing it now at the grocery stores and restaurants. I had someone tell me they went to buy some food at a fast food restaurant for their kids. 2 meals cost them $30
Wow.
for the kids.
Yeah.
2 meals at a fast food joint. I mean, who does this really benefit? Because the expats are going to feel the same effects of this, and the Cayman is going to feel it. So it's really benefiting no one. Even if we raise it to $10, it's 6 to 1.5 doesn't matter. You're making more, but you're spending more.
Spiraling
So
out.
I just don't see the logics behind raising the minimum wage, especially across the board. It should have been on a tier basis based on what job position you hold. I think that's the only way to make it make sense. And it couldn't have come at a worse time right now. Everybody is struggling to survive in Cayman, and the government seems to think it's a great idea to raise the minimum wage right now because it's going to benefit Caymanians. I can tell you, absolutely not one Caymanian benefiting from this. Neither expat. So I just hope that the opposition will do something to reverse this decision. Because honestly, once businesses get comfortable with this increase in their prices, they're not going to be able to get it back down.
Yeah,
it's
good
not
point.
going to go back.
Good point, caller.
There are other reasons why the prices have gone up as well. I think businesses are forecasting increased cost in doing business outside of the salary. A lot of people were preparing for it. I think the supermarkets were already at that rate, had moved their salaries up in preparation for it. But it's all the additional fees and in many instances, from what I understand, you can't even get work permits now. So now you're paying $875 plus overtime because you're short of staff. These are the things that drive up the cost of things. And I understand what the caller is saying. The caller is saying when minimum wage was $6, somebody was making $6 an hour, and a cost of oxtail, a plate of oxtail was $9 an hour. Now they're making $8.75 an hour, and the oxtail is now $14. And that has more to do with a combination of minimum wage, but also again other factors that are driving up the cost of living. But
Okay.
he has good points there.
I want to thank that caller for those comments as well. One of our listeners has written and said, remind the opposition party that most of our imports come from the USA and the Americas. And Americans have been complaining about increased cost of living in the United States of America. No one can control inflation coming from overseas. The previous government had the opportunity to implement the increase, but had refused to do so. Those are comments from one of our.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that earlier, and I did acknowledge that there were other issues and costs of living are being impacted not just through actions by our current government, but also by global challenges that we're facing. So it all brings me back to this, OC. If you're going to increase revenues, if you're going to increase fees, if you're going to increase the minimum wage in the way you did it, where are the mitigating efforts? Where are the efforts to reduce the burdens on Caymanian households and reduce the burdens on Caymanian small and medium-sized businesses?
If I can, if we go back to the argument made by the government, and I don't want to annoy my good friend, the Honourable Minister of Finance, Ralston Anglin, but as far as the messaging by the government of the day was that they never intended this to have a cost of living increase impact. The fees were said to be in areas upon which will not have a trickle-down component. And we argued against that to say, no, that is not factual. If you increase the cost of labor, particularly when 85% of the labor market for small businesses is outside labor, and you increase their costs, that's going to be passed on in their prices, in their services, in their goods. As well as the efficiency of the work department also adds costs. However, how long it takes, and it causes problems and delays. Anything that puts hurdles in the way of a business owner is a costly exercise. So I remember now, I could recall actually a comment made by the Honorable Minister saying, most of these are on people who can afford it. But it is simply not a fact, and I'm sorry, but this is
inflation has no prejudice.
Exactly, and it is trickling down. I think my good friend Christopher Saunders always say, only the people that pay taxes is the middle class, because the poor can't afford to pay it. The rich figures out a way to make sure they don't pay it, while the middle class and the middle are the ones who are taking the licks. And this is exactly what is happening now, where that caller was so right. I've been to that fried chicken restaurant where it's $30 for two meals. And I want to make sure that it's a new American one, right? to highlight which one it was. But because it's one of the ones I like, right? And I remember going, oh my God. And I get paid well on behalf of the people. So I'm worried about the average person in respect to their cost of living components. But I don't think that there is something that is reversible in respect to this law. But there are things that the government can do to help business owners say, please don't increase your prices. We'll give you a break in some other areas. That's the part that the leader has been speaking about constantly in Parliament. Like, where's the relief on the other side? Because if you don't give relief on this side, they're going to pass it on to the average consumer. But we haven't gotten much responses in that respect.
And there's not a whole lot of areas where the government can give relief, and this would bring a strong argument to Mr. McHurston's call. We don't have any form of income tax or state, local taxes other than import duties that you can offer some relief to businesses or to people.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, I don't think enough thought has been put into the government's revenue measures and what their impacts will have on the economy. And I think Mr. Tatum last week raised a red flag around how will the minimum wage affect those persons who are receiving assistance for caretakers, for healthcare coverage. Was there an adjustment in those things to help you cover your health care, help you cover your caretaker?
That is when you're receiving government assistance for
when
that.
You're receiving government assistance or any sort of assistance, and even on your insurance as well. If costs go up, is Cineco, let's take Cineco as government, is Cineco going to cover those costs?
Yeah.
It's a question that apparently it isn't, and
Hasn't been considered.
And so you have that challenge where persons are saying, okay, well, how do I get coverage for this? How do I cover that cost? And there are other areas that costs will go up and services will go up that you have to wonder whether or not it could be transportation.
Yeah. So either I break the law, or I find that money out of my own pocket, which if I could in the first place, I wouldn't be.
Well,
going
you'll have elderly people that have declared that they have someone comes and cleans their house twice a week or helps them out or whatever, and they pay that out of their $1,500 a month, but they can't pay that person $6 anymore. Yeah. They're going to have to pay that person $8.75. How is that adjusted in their monthly stipend? So there's a lot of these things, and it's fair to say that you can't think of everything. But again, as we said earlier, I just think it was a way it was introduced. I don't think that, even when it was just announced during a conversation in Parliament, no one thought it was really going to happen. They we're waiting on legislation, waiting on consultation, waiting on and then it wasn't until the advertisement started to come out that people were like, oh my gosh, this is really going to happen. Yeah.
Mr. Leader, if I can, because before we go
and
to
obviously,
the break.
obviously government agencies themselves didn't budget for the increase as well.
I think it's important to highlight something because sometimes we're not consciously seeing this. But people will say, well, boy, we need to get something done. We're proud of this administration for making a decision on this, making a decision on that. Now, granted, yes, I like to see politicians move. We got to get things done. But there is times for us to just be cautious with our steps so that we were going in the right direction. And we're starting to see a lot of the reasons why we were saying, guys, please just take your time and be careful before you do something, because that's a real life example. A person who gets a helper from Cineco under their insurance, and you have to pay for that worker on your own and reclaim it back in costs. So hypothetically speaking, it was $1,200 for that helper. Right? You're paying $1,200. Cineco gives you back $1,200. But now that the minimum wage has gone up, that helper now needs to be paid $1,500. But Cineco hasn't adjusted their amounts they're going to give you. So automatically, for you to take care of your elder person, you got to come up with $300 more. That's an increased cost of living. Another example, the fee increases in respect to the DVDL. Have they thought all of that through? I'm hearing now that there's no provisions to identify under law that you are Caymanian, because here's the thing that's going to be a problem, though, see. Wait till when you have to go to DVDL to license your car, and they say, well, the only way we can truly identify that you're Caymanian is by this new ID, national ID, which forces you to go off and get a acknowledgement letter from the immigration, which many Caymanians don't like that. Don't tell me I need to prove who I am, but now that you have to prove who you are to get the discount.
But don't they do it already for if you've reached over age 65 or 70, that you only pay half of the licensing fee? They're for some reason able to identify you then, because I don't believe that is open to persons other than Caymanians.
Well, let's say that is the case, and I don't think that's the case, but we're going to flush this out in Parliament. But I'm giving you examples of things that have not been thought about. Let's go back to the e-bikes. Why are we now extending it again for another month? It's because they're rushing things too quickly. The fact is, there's not enough insurance companies locally to be able to provide. Only 2 bikes thus far has been.
No, I'm talking about
2 insurance companies.
The number of months.
Oh, 2 months.
1st of March.
Oh, so they're extended for 2 months. Now, again, I go back to. This may just sound like the opposition complaining. Trust me, I do not want to complain. Most of the public knows that some of the members that I'm complaining about are my good friends, the Honorable J.E. Banks. But I cannot not do our job, which is you're moving too quickly without putting all the thought processes in, and then the people are getting the negative consequences as a result. So this is why the progressives have always been known to be sure steps. It may be as quick as you want it, but when the step is made, you can depend on it. And that's why I think people are going, PPM, what are you doing? But the truth is, we don't have the numbers. We can only hold them accountable by keep on talking about it. And hopefully the embarrassment alone of these rush decisions will cause them to make a decision. I'll start by saying this last thing. The maturity of good leaders and good elected members is to be willing to say, all right, we got that wrong. We don't mind making a change. As the saying goes, only a dead man and a fool can change their mind. So I think that the government needs to recognize they're doing a retreat now. That's great. You need to change your approach to how you're moving like this, because it's going to have adverse effects, particularly with the global circumstances. So,
and you don't want to be doing too many U-turns either.
Exactly, because you look like you're not capable, like you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
And I don't want to say that about the government, but there's a lot of people who are talking about that now with regret. But it's like, these guys know what they're doing or what? And I'm caught between a rock and a hard place where obviously I think that we could be a better government, but if they fail, then the country fails. Mm-hmm. That's my concern, right?
Yeah. Okay, we have a caller and I have a WhatsApp message. We're going to take the caller first. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.C.
Hey, good morning. How are you? Not sure that I've
Right,
spoken
man,
to you
what-
for the new year yet. Happy New Year to you, if I haven't.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all and the two. Yeah, I'm the Honorable Joey and the Honorable Kenneth Bryan.
Good morning, Elvis. How you doing, my brother? Happy New Year to you.
Good. I'm listening to the bearers. Good morning. I'm listening to the bearers of gloom and doom. Listen to me now. Yeah, gloom. Yeah, doom. I said the PPM was in power, which I supported now. Just got me said. Because I back Moores to heaven, and by anyway, Moores wanted to go with there with him. For 8 years, you guys was there. Now, the minimum wage came in at $6 an hour. If you guys reasonable thinking, anybody, because it's on the street, and I don't know it, if you had raised the minimum wage like how they raise the tin of corned beef, 3-4 cents every year, if the minimum wage had been raised 5% per year, right? It would have been observed smooth as ice. And the minimum wage now would be right around $10 per hour. Good?
Yeah.
Now, when I campaigned, which was 5 years ago, I said, let's raise the minimum wage at 10% then and 5% onward until we get it up to about $9 or $10 an hour. And that would be over such some time. Now, this minimum wage has been in position 14 years, and not 1 cent has been added on it. So now, we are saying now that it can shut our country down. No, other governments, your government, the PPM, and the other government that just left, only talked about it because remember, you was part of the last government. Let's get that straight, right? Kenneth, Mr. Kenneth?
Oh, yes.
So,
yes, sir.
Did you bring it up then to raise the wage of pay? No. I don't hear nothing about it. You talking about the doc, right? No. Let's put it this way. 14 years ago, when the minimum wage came in, I got asked Mr. Joey how much a beer was in his bar. I know it wasn't the price it is now. It was cheaper. So every year, every year when you get your stuff from J. Scott, sometime every 2-3 months, you see a raise in the cost of liquor. You can ask Woody them when they bring in stuff. Sometimes they had to get it from this way and that way. You can see a cost, right? But we was doing absolutely nothing about the minimum wage.
So,
now that something is being done about, you will get your say. Now that one government has taken it upon their shoulders to raise the minimum wage to $8.75. My little business, which is a small little business, you know how much an hour it cost me more? 75 cents. Because I took my time as a human being and a businessman to keep increasing it timely, right? So any business that was thinking about their employees instead of looking at them as overseas imported slaves, they would have done with the people right. So that's not the cost of living. And talking about
Mr. Elvis, I don't want you to think I'm stopping you because I see where you're going and I kind of somewhat agree with you, and I don't want you to think we're saying that no, the minimum wage shouldn't have gone up, but we're asking about now what are the effects and how it's affecting people. So am I understanding you by saying that it's the business owners that are increasing their costs too fast and they're not doing it the right way, or what? I don't understand what your viewpoint was.
But can you let me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I lobby for a lot of things, and this one came under the PPM. Listen, man, when turtle meat was $12.50 a pound, I went to Moores. I said, Moores, my God, $60 for a plate of for a little 5-pound lot of turtle meat, right? I said, Moores, all the senior citizens like me, my grandfather got drowned looking at it. I said we should get one 5-pound lot of meat for at least $7, $8, $9 but just for the senior citizen. And only let them get one lot because they would bore a hole in that and get their friends to buy 10, 15 pounds a lot, a meat every week or every day, right? You know what? You know what you guys done? You dropped it from $12.50 a pound to $9 a pound across the board. But that time the turtle meat was still at already went $15 a plate. And now the turtle meat is still $9 and the plate of turtle meat is about 17, 18. I stand to be corrected, but I'm almost sure that I'm right. So what did the minimum wage have to do with that? No, that's unscrupulous people. And the only thing that we were worrying about here is, oh, if you help the people, it's not going to help nobody. Tell me something. How would you like to try living on $6 an hour? If you can start some other business, if you're a woman, you know what you can start doing or might have to do. Yeah? And our country is deteriorating from the interior. Room fell from within, my brother. And about the moped, I will get to you will get your time. About the mopeds and the thing, that's been illegal from a long time. From the first one went on the road, they should have took it off. Boom. So I'm going to blame the government for holding up the law. It's like under doing like the law. You are the only lawmakers I know that do not like the law. And tell me something now. How is it that 10,385 voters that plenty of them voting for you and Joey, why you not come up, taking up, rushing the government so we can smoke our ganja in peace? No, you're not worrying about that because 10,385 Caymanians voting for that. And I have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Connor.
Yes.
Please let me allow it.
Okay,
this
sure.
Because, you know, I like Elvis. I respect him. Every time I go to Kimbrack, I try my best to see him, right? But I want to have a good dialogue. Dialogue means back and forth and understanding what the other person's viewpoint is, what they're, what they're trying to get across. He doesn't want that, so it's about only the progressives and us. That's fine. If you're politically motivated and you're picking side, then I have to respect that. That's your side. But what I know is that your conversation isn't helping us in respect to the narrative, because I'm trying to get where he's getting at. We're not making up the fact that the cost of living is going up, right? And we didn't say, we have in our manifesto that we would have supported the minimum wage going up. So what we're saying is, we're not downgrading the government for making the decision. Matter of fact, we were there when it happened. We said, cautious approach. Have you thought about these things? So that's not what we're saying. We're saying, but what are we going to do about that reality? The government also recognizes that they don't have cost control legislation, only in emergency circumstances. And I think that what it feels for me is that I want to have genuine conversation, genuine dialogue, and conclusions and solutions in our conversation. But if a person is only politically motivated for one side, come on now. I always want to hear Mr. McKeever, but it just sounds like you're just trying to be because it's PPM. But I can't respond to his conversations much anymore because I want to see his side. Let me tell you something. When the fee increases came up, Leader not going to say this, but I'll say it. We made sure, I said, listen, be careful with them liquor license fees, right? Because I don't want affecting a strong Caymanian, one of the only strong Caymanian liquor license owners in Caymanbrack to make his prices go up by 3%, by 300%, right? He doesn't know that we fight for him, even though he beat us to death every day. I'm cool with that. But I'm talking about the conversation, the conclusions that we're talking about. I'm not saying that they didn't have to increase the prices. I was also a part of the government before who did the minimum wage report. What we're saying is that the minimum wage has been increased, but it has had an effect. Why must just don't say nothing about it? Come on, man. So I just want him to understand that context. And when I come Caymanbrack, try to take me fishing.
And I must say that he did speak about the fact that he took proactive action in terms of increasing his workers' wages incrementally over the years. So he only has to increase it by like 75
spoke to that.
cents now because
I
of
did
the
speak
fact
to that
he did,
earlier.
yeah.
I may not have been called to the bar, but I have a head on my shoulders. I did speak to that earlier, and I said I gave reference to supermarkets that take their time to move theirs up and stuff. What we're concerned about is the other fees that were introduced and how they affect the cost of doing business. The almost seemed abrupt ending of work permits and the difficulties in receiving those, as well as being fair, pointed out the geopolitical issues that are happening around the world right now. All of these are contributing factors to the increase in cost of living and cost of doing business in Cayman. Our question is to the government of the day, what are you doing to mitigate that? And that is what we were asking, because we did not see anything in their $2.5 billion budget that helps to reduce the cost of living for Caymanian households, including the caller, or Caymanian small businesses, including the caller.
Well, and I know we're going to the break now, right? But this is why I want to interject with the caller to say, are you saying then it's not the problem of the increase in minimum wage? Because he's right. It's hard to know any person, any human being, to be living on $6 an hour in the country. But what are you saying is the problem then? Is the problem what he considers unscrupulous employers, or employers or business owners haven't managed their slow but steady increase? What is the problem? Because we have a job to do as MPs. Is there is now a problem. The cost of living has increased. People are talking about it, and it has trickled down to the average consumer, which is what the government said they were going to try not to do. But bearing in mind, now we're talking about two different factors here. Fee increases and minimum wage. And it's hard to divide all the information and go, what is attributed to what? That's why we said it's the cumulative effect. What they should have done is wait to see the impacts of the minimum wage, because it may not be just the minimum wage that has caused this. Implement these fee increases maybe a little bit later down, or 25% of them now, and in 6 months another 25% of them. Because right now it's a load of cloudy mess where we're trying to analyze it and being seen as, trying to pick on the government. No, what we're trying to do is say, what went wrong? Can we help you? Can we support you in adjustments? Because the people are feeling this. So I don't want that to be mistaken, because I support Mr. McKeever in respect to his viewpoint. Yes, a lot of people are saying the minimum wage has been too low for too long. But there are people who are logically right to say, well, we're not going anywhere because we increased that, but everything else went up. So what are we doing? So we have to be not afraid to analyze the things once they has had their cause.
Very quickly before we go to the break, this one has been sitting with me for a while. This person says, good morning to you and your guests. I'd like to know if there are any members of Parliament that have any businesses or who would benefit from keeping the minimum wages lower. We have to respect those persons who dedicated their time, experiences, and expertise. They're well qualified to make and made the decision on a minimum wage. We can please some of the people some of the time, but can't please all of the people all of the time. I want to thank that writer for that. Folks, last commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aid with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
For the Record with ORRETT Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. I'm going to talk very quickly because we have one voice message. We have one caller. I have a few short and one long WhatsApp message as well, and we don't have a whole lot of time. Let's do the voice note first.
Pleasant good morning, Mr. OC, and a pleasant good morning to Leader and Deputy Leader of the Opposition. This is Donna Bryan. I just want to say that I understand, as a matter of fact, I read that the Minister of Health have decided to cull cats. Well, there's a few cats around my yard, sir. They're all fixed. 3 of them. And they don't stray, they don't run about. They stays here in the yard, so I hope they don't have no plans to come in here at my cats. But when we cull the cats now, we'll find that we'll have an infestation of rats around the place. And I can tell you something, rats ain't too much of a healthy critters, you know. They're very unhealthy. And cats are clean little animals, so they need to leave people cats alone. And if they got money to pay to go culling cats, they need to do something about that hospital. I went there 2 days ago. A friend of mine was having surgery. They couldn't bring him out because there was no place to put him. Yesterday, I went back to see if I could visit him. He was still in the same place in the recovery, in the surgical ward, in the surgical area. I was told they have absolutely no place to put people. So they has to come down to maternity ward because not too many babies coming out. So they has to not send them down. Try and do something about that hospital and do something about that. I got a picture with that too. I took 2 pictures with that yesterday. So I'm going to be posting that down at the Truman Barden complex. That overhanging there, the mole in the mildew is terrible. It's tore up, flying all over the place. It is terrible. And then now we're going to fly a pile of fire rockets and drones again Monday night. God spare life. We got money for foolishness. Leave people cats alone and go put some rooms in the hospital and go take down all that old mole mildew thing down Truman Barden complex. Mr. OC, thanks a lot, and have a blessed, beautiful day. God bless you all. Keep up the good work.
Okay, we want to thank that caller for that. This person says, thank God at 74 plus, I'm still able to do my house chores. Good exercise. Let's go to the last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Mr. OC.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Clyde.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. And
Good morning to the Honorable Leader of the Opposition and the Deputy.
Morning.
Good morning.
A question and a comment, since I ain't got much time. The question is, with the minimum wage, when you go to a financial institution to, let's say, apply for a loan, and they ask you what your salary, will it be the $6.25 or the $8.75 an hour?
It has to be by law $8.75 now, as of January 1st. If that's the lowest you can put on any legal document, otherwise they're admitting to a crime.
But it says it's $6.25 or whatever plus grats.
Yeah, there is a carve out.
The grats are included. The grats are included now in your wages.
There's I think there's a 25% carve out for gratuity workers and for domestic living helpers.
Okay. And then a comment. I'm glad to hear that there's apparently some support for, let's say, multifamily housing when it comes to providing affordable housing. Yes, I'm happy to see that the opposition is leaning towards that area.
I'm starting to call it achievable housing.
Okay. As an old friend say, that's ceramics. But okay, I'm happy to hear that. While we're going down that road, we can make the housing a lot more affordable because as it is now, the building code says that in a building 3 stories or more require an elevator. If you're trying to provide affordable housing, you don't have to have an elevator to do that. As far south as Australia, they're providing achievable housing, 8 stories without elevators. We can do something similar, let's say 3 or 4 floors, no elevator. You can have it where the younger families stay on the upper floors and the older persons stay on the ground floor. I mean, that's easy to enforce. So, again, I'm happy to hear that the opposition is more or less on the same page as trying to provide affordable housing by using the most expensive means by providing houses or single-family homes. What we're looking at is providing dwelling units, whether it's a house or the apartments there. I thank you all very much, and I'll hang up and listen for your comments, and have a good day, everybody.
Thank you very much, caller.
Good to hear your voice.
Gentlemen, over to you. Have a few minutes left.
Well, to allow my leader to have the last word, Mr. Corner, I want to say thank you so much for allowing us to be on the show. And though I think much of the focus has been on the minimum wage and the cost of living, I don't want it may come off as if that we're beating down the government for the minimum wage implementation. That's not what it is, and sometimes lost in translation of our communication, it may be perceived that way. What we're saying is that regardless of the decision upon which we have in our manifesto, we would do similar decisions. The timing and the effect with other decisions are having effects right now, and we're concerned about it because many people are. So I don't want you that there's people who have sent their comments in, and I respect those comments, and it's good for us to deliberate on those, but we have to highlight the fact that a lot of people are talking about the cost of living. I wanted to say there's a special friend over in Jamaica who are listening to the show, Caymanian, in others, and introducing this morning show to tune in. And I want to say a special hello from Cayman. Also, my cousin Tex, Bryan, his birthday is today, so happy birthday to him. I love you loads, cousin, and I hope to see you later on. And it was a pleasure to be on the show, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday next week, Mr. Leader.
Thank you.
Thank you, OC, and thank you for having us on again this morning. And I thank all of those who either called or WhatsApped or left voice messages. It was a good interaction, a good interactive show, and I enjoyed it being here. OC, I want to take this opportunity to publicly congratulate all of those who will be receiving awards on Monday at the Heroes Day celebrations. We'll be there, but I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate them and look forward to seeing them all out there on Monday, and encouraging families to take opportunity to come out for a wholesome family morning and get witness our wonderful uniform services, our Coast Guard, and the Cadet Corps and all of those. The parade has really blossomed into quite a colorful parade, and they work so hard and train so hard to do it, so people should come out and support them as well. I also wanted to, OC, as we close off, continue or let the family of our colleague Austin Harris, let them know that, and Austin to know that the PPM family, we all continue to pray for him. And our thoughts and prayers are there to uplift and to support the family and friends at this time. That's it for me, OC.
Okay.
We'll continue to come in and try to do our best to keep the public informed through this media.
Certainly, thank you. And I just want to say there may have been a few WhatsApp messages that I was unable to read. What I have done is I have forwarded those to the deputy leader, and he can share them, with the leader as well, because I'm sure that persons have sent them in. They would like to hear them read and answered, but it will give you an opportunity to digest what they have said and address them the next time that you're on the show as well. That's extremely helpful. I want to thank all of those who participated this morning as well, either by calling in, by sending WhatsApp messages as well. Don't forget to continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Mr. Charles Glidden Challo at 12:15 today, and don't forget to join Miss Kathy Miller on the Buzz tomorrow morning as well. Folks, have a great day, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Yesterday,
today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.